Thank you, Mayor Wright. This item is being brought back to you in response to a desire to create a plan, or at least bring an option to the City Council for your consideration. The veterans representatives made a presentation at the last City Council meeting, which you'll see this proposal is very similar to, and our Public Works Director, John Blank, will walk us all through the details.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Up on your screen is a location map that shows the marina location, project location, L Street, the railroad, to get an idea, and the monument is right there. This distance, it looks like I'm nervous, but I really am not. Sorry. So this item, the Veterans Memorial was temporarily relocated to its current location. It was more an exposed area that folks could appreciate it, and it really stood out. And then in 2007, we approved a bathroom project. We as the City Council and Antioch approved a bathroom project to build bathrooms in the area. And we received quite a bit of feedback that the location was too close to the bathrooms. And then we have met with stakeholders, partners, people who are interested in working with us to resolve this issue and try to make this a better memorial, a Veterans Memorial location, and actually make it something special. So tonight we have shown a few slides and worked with folks, and I hope you can see this okay. The current location is right here, and the proposal is to move the monument right in this location, to put a bench here. A victory tree now will go at this location, the new monument here. You can see the military branch flagpoles here, a decorative wrought iron fence here, an access way with curb ramps. Move this memorial sign from this location to more of the entrance in this location, to put accessible parking at this location. This is the bathrooms area and a walkway where you can walk along, come through, and either sit down on a bench, take a rest, look at the victory tree. This is where the War Dog Memorial would be moved to. There's a wall, a 4-foot wall right here, and behind the wall you'll see cypress trees. So a row of cypress trees, a wall, the victory tree, the existing concrete walkway. This is the existing walls that they'll remain, and this is the proposed layout of an alternative. So tonight we're asking Council to take a look at this map, to provide feedback. We'll come back to this. I'm going to show you the next location. This is what the memorial would look like. This is the poles, the fencing, and next one is the bathrooms this is the easterly view of the bathrooms. So you don't see the side view, and that view is standing right here looking at the restrooms. So that they're only 10, 12 foot wide in this area when you're looking down this direction. So with that, I would like to request City Council, the Mayor, to provide comments, feedback, and whether or not you would like us to establish a funded project and move forward with making these changes in the movement to the monument. So we have to do estimating and then look at our funding sources and then put together the project funding and move forward with it. So that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have public comments on this item? J.R. Wilson, followed by Dan Adderholt.
Good evening, City Council. I would request, if you're a veteran in the audience or you know a veteran, would you please stand up? Wow. Looks like we got a large community here. Thank you. You may have a seat, and thank you for your service to this great country. In light of the estimates not being part of the staff report, we are going to ask that the mayor ask the staff to put together a budget and come back to the City Council for a vote with the intent of having full passage of our proposal, with a dedication being this Veterans Day. With that being said, I would like to state that I would like to be home with my family, enjoying a nice dinner with my beautiful wife, my beautiful kids. But yet we are here today. We are here today because of City Council's past whatever. We are here because there's a bathroom that went next to our memorial. That wasn't publicity that we decided to have, but that decision has brought negativity and bad light to our veterans community here. So we are asking that if you do ask the city direct for a budget and come back on the very next City Council meeting, that it does get passed, and it gets passed in time for Veterans Day for a dedication. We also would like to know how long do we in this community have to look at a memorial through a fence that we had to ask the city to open up for Memorial Day? How long? How long do we have to look at a memorial through a fence that's next to a bathroom? How long does this veterans community, how long do the citizens of this community? We have a rich veterans community here in the city of Antioch. We have families that have family members that fought in World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Persian Gulf, Marines that fought in Beirut, were blown up in Beirut. We have the wars that are constantly going on now. We have banners that are going up, down L Street, and with the completion of that, that makes that memorial 10 blocks long. You have an opportunity, we had an opportunity, to make a negative into a positive. The proposal that we put together on August 13th and that you just had outlined is a way to bring a negative to a positive. We didn't ask for the media to come.
Thank you.
It came. Thank you very much.
Dan Adderholt, followed by Diane Ferguson.
I also agree with this proposal. I think it's great for us veterans to have a beautiful memorial for our fallen brothers who have died. I think it's an awesome thing to doing. I happen to agree with the distance with the bathroom. I think this is a good proposal right here, and I definitely have 78% of my homeless crew are veterans here in Antioch too, who would also approve of this, and it's a win-win situation both for our fellow veterans who have fallen, also for our homeless community. They're out here on the streets that have a restroom they can use as well, and our public people as well. I think it's a win-win situation for everybody, and I really like that picture of what it's going to look like when the memorial is done. That's a great salute to our troops who have fallen. Thank you for a price of victory. Thank you.
Diane Ferguson.
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and the City Council, for letting me speak. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm an Air Force veteran. I come from a family of veterans. Both of my grandfathers were World War II Navy veterans. My maternal grandfather died before he was 40, and we believe it was due to, in part, to exposure to nuclear fallout during his time in the Pacific Theater and on Nagasaki. after the bombs were dropped. My great uncle was in the Army and served nearby at the Byron Hot Springs Interrogation Center. One of my uncles served in the Army during the Korean War. 2 more uncles served in Vietnam. One in the Air Force on Monkey Mountain, a prominent observation base, and the other in the Navy, patrolling the overseas area in the Pacific. One of my nephews now serves in the Navy and is currently deployed in the Persian Gulf. For 20 years, I was a Coast Guard spouse and several times served as an ombudsman between dependents and the command. My children were raised as military brats, and we transferred every 3 or 4 years. We wanted to set down roots and chose to buy a home and settle in Antioch. My children's father volunteered for 3 back-to-back assignments aboard cutters in Alameda, so he was hardly ever home, so that we could stay in this area. I have dedicated most of my adult life to the military and veterans, first as an airman, then as a military spouse and ombudsman, and now in my career and volunteer service. I am one of the Veterans Education Services Specialists at Los Medanos College and act as the resident expert on all things to do with the VA. I help to ensure that our returning veterans receive their GI Bill education benefits and assist them to be successful in achieving their future goals. I serve on the executive board of the Delta Veterans Group and have volunteered at Stand Down on the Delta since 2015. To find out that the city of Antioch was building a public toilet next to our Veterans Memorial feels like a slap in the face to me and shows great disrespect to me, my family, and to all veterans that have sacrificed to serve our community and country. I plead with the City Council to support this proposal so that we can have that respect back to our community veterans. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. This item is now before council. Ask for comments or questions. Councilmember Ogorchuk.
I get to go first. I'm loving this. I had questions at first on this. I was kind of questioning the way the memorial was going to face towards the water versus the way that was facing. And it was explained to me, and I understand that you can sit on the bench and look at the Veterans Memorial change there. So once I understood that, I understood the vision that the veterans came up with. I'm not crazy about the trees, but it's not about the trees, it's about the veterans. So I'm for this project, and I too would like to see this completed before Veterans Day, which is coming up around the corner. So I would like to see us move this forward. I know it was not this council that approved where the bathrooms were going to go. I personally did not understand that the bathroom was going to go there. I know in January this was put on consent calendar, and we as a council did not, I guess I should say I didn't do my research, which I'm usually pretty good at it. I did not research and find out that the bathrooms are going to be so close to this memorial. So I do apologize to the veterans community for that. But I am one to move forward on this. The banners look great. They're going to look great all the way down L Street. And with this new addition here, it's going to be a beautiful memorial, one that's better than anything in Contra Costa County and even further. So thank you.
Councilmember Wilson.
Yeah, just a quick question that came up in comments. It's a question for our Public Works Director. What would the timeline be on this? I mean, from getting the funding to what would be the timeline on it?
It'd be really tough to get it completely done by November and Veterans Day. We could try to see what we can get done, and as we approach the date, try to have a meaningful ceremony and have the site to such a state that we can celebrate Veterans Day. But I'm not very super confident that we can get it done. We just have to we have to put together a plan and go right to work. I mean, we've got an idea, but moving the monument and all that could take a little while, and cutting in the curb ramps and a lot of other things. The landscaping, as well might work out. But there's a lot of things to do.
Mayor Pro Tem Motz.
I just want to make a comment that, this community, I think, has always been supported our veterans for as long as I can remember. It's been an important part of our history. We have a Veterans Parade every single year. And as the daughter of a World War II veteran, I was so honored to have my father be part of that initial flag ceremony down there. But I just want to make sure that, the community knows that I think as soon as it was brought to our attention that, the staff and City Manager Ron Burnell and all of us have been willing to do whatever we needed to do to try to make this right, make sure that we take care of honoring our veterans in the right way. And I do like the design. And I guess my only request at this time is that, we need to know the cost so that, my recommendation would be to take a look at what, the cost would be for the current design proposed here, and hopefully be able to bring that back at the next council meeting for consideration.
Councilmember Thorpe.
Yeah, I'd agree with Council Member Motz. I am a veteran, and I not once thought that any of my colleagues or any of the previous city councils did anything to disrespect the veteran community. I know that this community, since I've moved here, and I've only lived here 8 years, has been pretty celebratory of our veterans and our veteran community. And so I applaud this council and previous councils for always doing that. I also want to echo Councilwoman Motz's sentiments that, yes, when this was brought to our attention, we certainly got to work. And it was not brought to our attention when the news media showed up and turned this into a hysterical event. We were working on that long before that with JR. I met with him a couple times. And so please know that this council took heed to the message of our veterans community. So that being said, I support the design. I don't think you'll find much contention with that. But we do need to look at the cost first before we make. I think we need to look at the cost first before we make that final determination.
I am 100% behind this this change and moving forward. I would love to see us do. I'll be honest, as I talked to JR today and then I sat down, I looked at the time calendar between now and Veterans Day, and I've learned to understand how slow government works. I'm wondering if there is something that we can sit down and go, okay, by Veterans Day, this is what we can get done. Do you know what I'm saying? So that this is and then there's some things that maybe the 4-foot wall can't be done by Veterans Day, but there are some things that can definitely be done by Veterans Day to make it a nice monument, and then we just add the additional things afterwards that make it even better. So, and I just know from a staff standpoint where that comes to. So I would love to see as much as possible to the point where, when people see it, it looks like a finished product. Even though we all know that there are other things to come, it looks like a finished product on Veterans Day. Is that something that's possible?
Yeah, I think the first task is to move the monument and to put it on a foundation, and then once that starts happening, you can start planting the victory tree. You can put the curb cuts in, put the landscaping in, and we can get as much done. Like you said, the wall might be one of the last things that could be done. That would allow you to have a good celebration that if you had the monument in its location, and we did some of those improvements to striping and so forth.
Yeah, I would love to, and if you had an amount, say a budgeted amount this evening, and we approved a budgeted amount, saying, yes, go forward with this, and we budget $40,000 for it, right? I don't know. We don't know what the ultimate is going to be. That would allow you to start moving forward with moving some of those things and come back with, if it looks like it's going to be more than that, with an ask for more. Would that be something that we could do to get this off the ground and moving now as soon as possible?
Yes, it could be, because the first task is moving the monument, and that would get that moving, and we wouldn't slow us down, and that's the critical path, is to move the monument.
That would be my request this evening. So I will make a motion that we approve this design moving forward with a budget of $40,000 to get things going. And if it goes beyond that, or it's going to be more than that, then you would have to come back to us for further approval. That would be my motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second. Discussion? Call for a vote?
Yeah, and I would check with city attorney, of course, but I would recommend it come back with a resolution.
Direction, right. Under the agenda, it says that what is requested is direction, so I think all you're required to give is direction.
So that's going to have to, that would have to come back at the next agenda anyway with
That's
that
right.
direction.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah, so this is just direction, doesn't require a vote. You've given unanimous direction to the council.
And then maybe potentially, if you could be more accurate in the estimate by 2 weeks, then we could have something that's even more accurate. Any other comments or questions? Direction